So yeah, today's topic will be the last of CSS. Won't be talking about CSS anymore, except that we'll be doing some layouts. Okay, so today's class we talk about the display, float, and position properties of CSS, and there are some advanced concepts for CSS which is called CSS3. Okay, I hope you guys explore by yourself because the course does not cover CSS3 here. The course only covers what is really important in terms of in terms of CSS. Okay, so the properties which you guys can explore by yourself. I mean, I only tell again the important properties, which is nothing but the border radius. Okay, try to explore the border radius, try to explore the transition and transform properties. Okay, and there are certain selectors which are like even selectors. These are selectors. I hope you guys explore it by yourself again. Even selector and odd selectors. Okay, and there are some selectors called before and after. This is also really important. And flexbox is one more property which is important in um, with respect to today's class. So I hope you guys explore. These are all like CSS3 uh, properties which we won't be discussing as a part of the course. So, and the other thing is that you guys can come back anytime and ask me. It's not like I don't know them, but it's not in a part of the coursework. So you try to explore by yourself. Come back if you have any questions so that I can explain you guys better. Like yesterday's session, we take up that on a Saturday. I mean only that if you have questions in that. It's not like I can't really take up that. Okay, so that's with that, and then let me just write this, finish off this. So you cannot talk in the class. All you can do is only type something. Okay, so if you want to talk to me, or if you have any question, or if you cannot hear me, you can use the chat box. This is quite familiar with the old students, but yeah, this is for the people who come for the first time. Yeah, people do come for the first time to Tutors Live, so sometimes they just come to see what Tutors Live is, so they just log in. So yeah, okay, so let's talk about these properties. So even before that, so did you guys watch the table assignment video? So how is it? I mean, can you guys now do it? And have posted one more assignment in the CSS box model. Nobody has submitted. So I wonder, do you guys receiving my emails regarding the updates, or if not, just drop that email into your primary inbox so that you may get notifications. But still, you get notifications for updates and promotions and stuff. But still, I mean, it's better if you drop that email to the primary inbox. So yeah, I don't know how many of you guys are receiving emails, how many of you guys are ignoring them, because I can't really keep a track on that. It's sent from the server, so I can't seriously do that. Maybe in future I may start writing code to track the users, like whom are all opening, whom are clicking it. That can be done. Receiving, fantastic. So what do you guys think until now, the journey at Tutors Live? Did you are you are you at the same level before Tutors Live, or you doing any better, or is it exceptional? So what is that thing? How's your journey at Tutors Live? I would like to know from you guys. Better? Oh, great. So it's all practice. Okay, the more you practice, the better you will be. So experience is nothing but practice. So if you need more practice, I can really give more and more assignments, or even maybe I can hook you guys into projects which I'm doing, which I'll be doing. I'll be starting in a while, in a couple of days, doing some projects as a morning job. So you guys can participate too if you need more, you know more exposure, real-time experience. So real-time experience is nothing. Whatever you do here, you just apply it there. That's it. You already know. Yeah, but the commitment should be there, because it's not just me, it's some other person. Okay, so even before that, CSS is completed, right? So tomorrow's class is really important. Tomorrow's and the day after tomorrow's class is all about the front end frameworks, the Twitter Bootstrap framework. Okay, I'll be typing here. So the next set of classes, you can explore this too. It's again already discussed in the previous batch. You can go to the courses, block builders. You will find the videos of Twitter Bootstrap too. Okay, Twitter Bootstrap, very cool framework. I like Twitter Bootstrap personally. Some people will also suggest Zoop Foundation. This is also front end frameworks. These two are front end frameworks. Now we are writing the classes, right, all the while. Okay, these are nothing but classes are already written. All we have to do is use them. That's it. Okay, so even you guys can also develop a front end framework if you have much time, if you are into website designing. But our concentration, the course concentration is mainly on website developing. But still, I hope I've done better in website designing part too. You guys should be able to do the designing part too, at least make some changes to the existing templates. So that's where we talk about templates. Once you are done with this, I suppose you guys can be, you guys are fit to do your project. Okay, so that will be the start. So that is 3 days from now, let's say. So 3 days from now you guys are good to do projects. I'll be telling you guys how to tackle with that, deal with that. But then as the course goes on, okay, when JavaScript starts, I suppose learning JavaScript will not put you in a position to do developing. But yeah, this part up to HTML and CSS, you will be better designers. You can really go ahead and start taking projects to, like, if you have your friends, if you want to have some exposure, okay, you can take your friends projects or develop your own website, portfolio website, your friends websites. So you can take it out and you can try out static web pages. You can do using HTML and CSS. That is about it. Okay, so now let's see. There are few things in box model which we could not discuss, but don't worry. You'll be learning that in today's class. Okay, that will be continued. We did not discuss the width and height properly. I did tell that, the width and height properties, but yeah, you'll be doing that too today. Alright, so let's talk about the display. So display, what is display? Now if you take a web page, okay, you have written some content inside a P. Let's say you have written something inside P. This is a paragraph. Okay, so you have written some content. So is this visible on the front side? If I write some content on in my HTML page and try to look at the output on a browser, okay, is this visible? Is this visible? Is this displayed on the page? Yes, is this displayed on the page? So yeah, instead of talking much about here, let's do this in the website, in the page itself. Okay, so let's do this. Screen, I'm gonna share my screen here. So just let me know if there are any problems in looking at the screen, so that I can fix them real quick. Alright, so okay, here is it. This is our folder, entire folder. This is the last assignment. Last assignment was really cool. You guys should try it out, looking at the videos. Only Satyanarayana was present then, and the rest of the people are absent. So that's really cool. Like, for people who are struggling with the tables assignment, you can really work on that. So again, the kind of assignments I have given until now are really basic, like they're not really, brain crackers, or you have to put your brain onto it. They are really really simple assignments. Hey Sandeep, how are you? Okay, so let's talk about the display properties here. So as usual, the first sentence of any page is the doc type HTML, which means the document type uses HTML convention. So HTML head, body. So inside the head, always write a title. So what's the purpose of the title there? Any idea what's the purpose of the title? Yeah, anybody has any idea what's the purpose of the title? So CSS display.html. Alright, so let's go into the body here. So what I'm really talking about here is I have a paragraph here. Okay, I'll say this is a paragraph, and soon I'll make this disappear. Okay, so I hope the spelling's right. Yeah. Alright, let's see now. Let's go back to our here Super 10. So CSS display, click on this. Okay, so now that is visible. So the default property anything you write in your HTML page is display. It displays something. It's being displayed. Now let's write another paragraph here. Okay, so I mean, let me use a styling here, so that that we can identify it better. So style for the P. Okay, I would like to give a background. So background is the best way to check the width and height of anything, because background is occupied until the width and height, the boundaries of it. Okay, so background, let's take a background color of 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and I would like to use a border too. A border. So the first of the border is bordered for guys, maybe, yeah, the style, not the style, the width 1 pixel solid, and let's use a white color. Oh no, white color will be mixed in it. So let's take this 6 5 4 3 2 1. Alright, let the color of the text be white. Alright, let's see now. Okay, this is looking good, and let us use the padding and let's use the padding there. Padding of 1%. Okay, padding 1% when looks better, right? Fine. So now width, let's talk about width. Let's give a width here. Width 50%. I'm not using pixels. Remember this one thing, never ever use pixels. If you use pixels, it's fixed. Like, why fixed and what is fixed exactly, I'll tell you guys in a while. Okay, let's see. When I gave width equal to 50%, the width is 50%. So you guys know anything about responsive design? Okay, let me come back to the class here. Okay, so responsive design, you have to learn about responsive design. This is the latest trend. Responsive design is something which is fit to any kind of device you try to access the web page. Like, it should fit into it. It should look good on every website, on every device you are looking at the web page, for any width exactly. Okay, so why percentage now? Why not pixels? When you use pixels, now let's take a mobile phone. Okay, iPhone has some 315 pixel width. Now I say width equal to 200 pixels. Okay, how much width does it occupy on iPhone? It fairly occupies know, 75% of the width, right? But when you go to the web page in a computer, in a desktop, let's say the desktop's width is 1100 pixels, let's say. Now 200 pixels in 1100 pixels, how much does it occupy? It occupies somewhere around 20 percentage. Okay, so there is a huge gap, right? When I see it in a desktop, okay, it looks like very small. When I see it in iPhone, it looks very big. Okay, I don't really want that. I want it to be proportional on any device I see at the web page. Okay, now I've given 50%. Okay, now let's say this is the size of iPhone. This is the size of iPhone. So as the width of the screen increases, okay, the 50%, I have given 50%, right? So every time it will be 50%. So that's the only reason I asked you guys to give every metric in percentages, because percentages you can really control it in any device. If you give it in pixels, now let's take the pixels here. So 50%, I don't know how much pixels is 50%. Let's take this. So computed, so it's 447.33 pixels. So let's take 448 pixels. Okay, so instead of 50%, I say 448 pixels. 448 pixels. Let's go here. I'm gonna refresh that. Refresh. Okay, let's go back to the responsive thing. Now you see that this is a tablet, it looks the same. This is now an iPhone. For an iPhone, I have to scroll here to see it because the width is that much. So it's a bad design, right? So that is the reason we have to go for the 50%, the percentages. Now I'll say let's do this 80% or 90%. Let's go here 90%, and let's go back to any device. It's still 90%, right? So that's a cool thing about using percentages than pixels. Okay, so 50%. Okay, fine. That's okay. Okay, and let's use a class here. Class equal to, let's say, first. Now I'm gonna copy this, paste again. I'll say second. Okay, this is another paragraph. Okay, and look what happens. And now let's take here, let's go here, refresh. Now tell me what kind of a tag it is. A display or inline? Sorry, not display, block or inline? Yes, let me use 40% instead. Okay, because when I say 40%, oops. Okay, now the width is 40%. So what kind of a tag it is? Display, sorry, block or inline? Yes, block. So now I can convert this into inline using CSS, with using my display property. I said display inline. So display is how does it how what should be its scope is what display does. So display block will make its scope 100%. Display inline will make its scope only restricted to the text. Let's see now. Refresh. See that? Now they have become, what kind of tags are these now? Inline. Okay, they are now inline tags. Now there's a small glitch in this. What is the width of this? What width did I give here? Width equal to 40%, right? And this should be the same, right? I have given width equal to 40%. So let's just inspect this. So here, let me go to the computer. Okay, for the second, I just hover on this, it will tell me the width is 342 pixel here. Okay, for the first one the width is 372 pixels there. Right, it's not taking the 40% over there, so that is the problem of inline tags. What is the problem of inline tags? Even though you give a width to inline tags, they don't really take that width. What they do instead, they only take that width until the content is there. Now if I increase the content, or if I decrease the content, if I remove something and if I add something, the width will be in proportion to it. Alright, so how do I avoid this? I want this to be inline, but still I want it to occupy the space I want it to it. Okay, for that, for the same reason, okay, I'm gonna comment out this so that you guys may find it later. So display inline block. Now let's see. Okay, I said display inline hyphen block. Click. Now you see the width is more than what the content is. Okay, so inline block is a block level tag, except that it allows an inline scope to the elements. Okay, so there's a difference between inline and inline block and block. Block level tag, inline tag, and inline block tag. There's a difference here. So the difference is here. Okay, remember this. If you go for interviews, people will ask you this. What's the difference between inline and inline block? They'll definitely ask you this. If you apply for a CSS post, like say if you're going as a designer, they'll definitely ask this question. Now coming to block here. First let's talk about inline. What is inline? Inline has the scope only until the content is present. It does not take the width. If you would have observed, it did not even take the margin over there. Okay, even margin did not it's not applied on the inline blocks. Okay, so the only property of inline is that it places content next to it. It allows content, let's say allows content next to it, does not occupy the mentioned width. Okay, no margin is applied unless and until you mention. When I say no margin, it's a default margin. Every tag has a default margin. You guys accept it or not? Does every tag has a default margin? Yes. Okay, when I say no margin is applied, it's a default margin. If you give margin, let's say to inline elements, which I'll be showing in a while, it will definitely take it. Okay, the next is block level tag. So it's completely opposite to inline. It does not let the content placing next to it. It occupies the mentioned width, and no margin is applied. Okay, exact opposite to inline. And inline block, okay, is the same as block level tag, except only one thing. What is that one thing? It allows content to be placed next to it. So now let's frame our syntax for the display property here. Display can be inline block inline block. Okay, there is one more property which I'm gonna show it now. So I said, right, display inline block and inline block. Now I suppose you guys know the difference between all these three values of the display property. Alright, this is the syntax. Okay, so now let's go back to our page here. Now what I said soon I will make this disappear, right? So let's make this disappear. How? Only one, right? Dot first display none. So what does display none does? Let's see, I made it disappear. Okay, display none. Display none. What it has done, it has removed the entire scope of it. It has removed the entire scope of it. So none. So display inline block, and none. Okay, so out of these two are very important. Okay, so we see how these can be used in JavaScript. You see those cool animations in the web pages, like it comes and goes, like, you know, it shows one time and it hides sometime, shows and hides. That can be done using display property. Okay, we'll see that in the JavaScript class. Okay, how we can show things and hide things using a button click or automatic showing and hiding of elements. Okay, that can be done using JavaScript. So but now, yeah, only thing that, I mean, think about only inline block and none. These two are really important. Okay, and you have seen the properties of those, and inline and block. Okay, let me show this inline. Okay, so here let me use another paragraph here. So the class is third, I say. Okay, say this is third paragraph with a margin, a default margin. Alright, let's see now. Let's go back here. So first one is hidden, it won't be shown. The third block has come in here. Okay, now let's do one thing here. Let's again comment out this. Oops, not this one, I'm sorry, this one. Alright, so the third one has a default margin here. Let's see what's the default margin over there. So go here to computer to see what's the margin. The margin is 16 pixels. The border, we have given the border, right? We have given the border to be 1 pixel over there, and we have given a padding 1%, which is 8.938, and it has a width of 357 pixels and a height of 18 pixels. Okay, so that's it. There's a margin, default margin. Every paragraph has a default 16 pixel margin. Now let me do this here. Third, display inline. Let's see now. Now see, I said display inline. So let me go here. Okay, let me use a BR there. Okay, just to show how much does it occupy. Okay, now let me see the margin there. There is no margin. Okay, though it shows 16 pixels of margin, but the margin has been gone over there. See that? Margin is not there. It shows, but only this is there, and a padding is there, and a border is there. That's it. There is no margin. So this is the property of inline. But when I say inline block now, okay, it applies everything except that it places next to it. Okay, and again, what did inline do? Inline has made it go here, right? There is some space here, go and occupy. That's what inline does. Inline tells that, okay, do not waste any space, go here, creep up to here, and start from there and end wherever you want, wherever your content is ended. Right, that is about display. So the second property of today we're gonna discuss is visibility. Okay, visibility is again a part of display. Visibility is another thing. It has two values, visible and hidden. Okay, visible and hidden. So let's open a new program here. and let's see what visibility can do. I'll ask a question after you see this example. Okay, so I'm gonna copy everything here. Visibility. Alright, so let's remove this display, or let's use the display inline block. Okay, so coming to the third here, I'll just remove. And let's go here. Okay, this is what it is. So the reason for that being like that is a zoom. Alright, so this is it. This is our inline block which has margins, which has everything over there. Alright, so now here I'll make the first paragraph disappear using visibility now. Visibility hidden. I say visibility hidden. Let's come here and refresh. Okay, fine, it's now hidden. So what is the difference between display none and visibility hidden? I guess Sandeep know the answer, but I want the answer from the students here. As you're here sleeping, are you listening to class? What is the difference between visibility hidden and display none? This is the question. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. That's a close answer. So what's really happening out there here is when I say display none, okay, let's use display none on the second paragraph here. So I'm gonna they're both the same. They are hiding the content, but when display none, it's removing the scope of it too. It just deletes everything. Okay, when I say delete, only the scope, not the content. That the content is present there. In visibility hidden, okay, the scope is maintained there. Only the content, the text, whatever you said, the text is not visible to us, but the scope is there. Fantastic, good answer over there. So here for the second, okay, I'll say display none. Alright, for the second, let's say display none. So I'm going to refresh here. So the display none has been removed. So you see the scope is there. When you inspect element, the scope is still there, only the content is hidden. Whereas coming to the second, the scope is not there. I can't really find out where is this placed. It's none. The display is none. Do not show anything, even the scope too. Okay, when I just, it's right there. Okay, but when I inspect the element, I can't really find out. But whereas visibility hidden, you can see the scope is there. The scope is still there, only the content is hidden. Alright, but this cannot trace out where the element is. Alright, that's the difference between display and visibility. Remember, even people ask this question in the interviews too. Alright, so any questions here? And where do you use not this will be a different situation. Where do you really use this? Again, the application will be in JavaScript, because this is just a property. Okay, in JavaScript, for instance, say if sometimes you see this delete, exactly, you see delete. If you delete, the scope is also deleted. But sometimes you see remove, but the scope will be there, like remove element, but it should not move anywhere, it should remove from there. Okay, so something I'll show you guys in an example here. So suppose these are 3 images, let's say. Okay, say click to remove, there is a remove button here. So remove in the sense delete. So it's all designer's application. You click on this, delete this completely and move them here. What should you use? If you click on this, okay, this should be removed and these to be moved. What is the thing you are supposed to use over there? Is it display or visibility? Give any answer, no problem. Even if you go wrong, this will help you in coming classes. What should be used on this? Okay, now second application. Okay, same into click on this, remove this, but don't move them, fixed. These are fixed here, they should not move. Okay, what should be applied here? So in this case it's display none. In this case it is visibility hidden. Okay, so it purely depends upon the application. You'll see this in jQuery and JavaScript, not now, because we don't know anything about it. Okay, this is application. Alright, delete that, move it, display none. You delete that, fixed, display visibility hidden. Alright, so now let's talk about the next property in our line, which is position. Right, now when we talk about position, we have to talk about the coordinates here. Let's take this is a web page. Okay, a web page. A web page always starts from here, this location, and ends at this location. So it has 4 corners, right? A web page is a Rectangle or square? So it always has four sides. So when we say four sides, it has four corners, right? So what is the position here? Let's take a graph. What will be this position anytime, the starting position? Yes guys, what is the starting position there? Give me in coordinates. Do you guys know anything about coordinates? You guys know anything about coordinates? Okay, I'll tell you. So this is 0 comma 0, x direction 0, y direction 0. Let's take this is a 800 pixels page. What is that? 0 comma 800, right? Any question here? The width is 800. Any questions here? Okay, I suppose no questions. The height here is 800 pixels, let's say. Okay, now you guys have to tell me what is the coordinates of this. Yeah, no idea? 800 comma 0. Okay, so this is pure mathematics. And what is this location? 800 comma 800. Okay, so these are the coordinates of the web page. Like this is top left position, right? Yes, and this is top right position. This is bottom right position, and this is bottom left position, right? Am I right? The location. Now what is the value of top here and what is the value of left here? Value of top and value of 0 left. Right, it's 0 0. Now coming here, what is the value of top here and what is the value of right here? Let me see your skills. What's the value of top and what's the value of right? Give me value comma value, top value and right value. You're not following. Here, what is the value of top and left at this location? This top and left value at this location. If you give that, we can continue forward. 0 and 800. What is the value of top and right there? The same location. What is the value of top and right? What is the value of bottom and right? What is the value of bottom and right here? Minus 800 actually it is. Okay, so fine, you guys are doing fantastic thing there. Okay, now that you know the coordinates here, okay, now tell me. Okay, now let me talk about the positions here. Okay, we have three types of positions in CSS. or HTML I say. The first one is fixed. You guys know what fixed is. It is fixed at a location. The next is absolute, and the next is relative. Okay, so it's the values of position. So position is a property. Position is fixed, position is absolute, and position is relative. So anytime you give a position, you have to specify the coordinates. Okay, remember this. Every time you specify the position, you have to specify the coordinates. The coordinates are always only two. It can be top, left. Okay, it can be top and left, or top and right. Right, it does not make sense if I'll show you why it does not make sense. Okay, or it can be bottom and left, bottom and right. Okay, you have to specify the coordinates every time. Remember this. Now coming to here, what is fixed? Fixed is fixed. You all guys know. Now absolute. The absolute position. When I say absolute position, now suppose I write a div here. Okay, div starts from here, right? First div. Let's take the first div's width is say 100 pixels and height is 100 pixels. It will be placed like that. Then we have a second div which has 200 pixels width and 200 pixels height. So let's assume that it's inline block. Okay, then we have another div. Okay, so this is its position. This div's position is starting from here. Okay, this is the position of the first div, position of the second div, position of the third div. So this kind of placement is the regular placement, which is called static placement or static position. Now what is absolute? Absolute is saying that place this div, place this div somewhere here using the coordinates. Place this div here. That is a absolute position. So irrespective of the default things, I can force it to place it somewhere using position absolute. So the meaning of absolute is like do it. That's it. You have to do it. I am giving the coordinates. Please position it in absolute mode. Now coming to the relative mode. Position relative. Okay. So what is position relative? So with respect to its current position is called relative. Now let's say this current position is 10 by 10, right? Let's assume it's 10, left is 10, okay, and top is 0. Let me write it actually. You see this is an example, okay? So the left here is 10 pixels and the top there is 0 pixels. Okay, or let's take it the reverse. Oops. 0 pixels top, 10 pixel left. Now I'll say position this particular div, this guy. I'll say position relative. I want to move the top of it 10 pixels towards bottom. So how is it possible? I take this. Okay, I'll say I want to move this 10 pixels to here. So this is relative to its current position. So moving with respect to its current position is relative, placing it absolutely at a location is absolute, and fixing it at a location is fixed. Okay, now let's see all these three, and we see the coordinates, how can we manipulate coordinates, and where will we be using this. Okay, so I'm going to increase the time here. Maybe we don't have half an hour is not sufficient, so so yeah, we have one more hour here. Fantastic. So let's go back here. Let me share my screen. So put your questions with you. So I'm gonna answer your questions after you see this example. So most probably your questions will be clarified with this example. So here, let's do it. Doc type HTML. Here the head, body, title, Tutors Live, Super 10, CSS, position. So I call it as CSS underscore position dot HTML. And coming to the body here, let's use again the paragraphs here. Okay, class is equal to, I'll say absolute, ABS for absolute. Okay, REL for relative. Okay, and FIX for fixed. So let's go back here, style it. Style to the P tag. I'll say the width, let the width be some, just there are three, right? So let's use 33% or 30% instead. Okay, let's use a height, be 100 pixel. Okay, let's use a let's use different backgrounds for each. So here dot ABS background hash. Let's start from A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, I don't know what color it is. For relative, we use this C, D, E, F 01. Okay, for fixed, this background hash EF 0123. Okay, now let's see, go back here. They're fairly good, right? So they are display block, hence they're like that. Three different blocks. The first one is absolute, so let's just write something inside saying position absolute. Okay, let's give the coordinates here too. Top, I'll say top is 100 pixel, and I'll say left to be 200 pixels. Okay, let me just do this so that we will be knowing which one is what. Now coming to this, let me just copy. Some text, I'm writing a text, that's it. Now when we talk about the relative, okay, you can give two or you can give only one also. Let's give two. So when I say talk about relative, relative is all about, okay, with respect to that location. So let's use the same, okay, and fixed. This is relative and this is fixed. For fixed, I'll say bottom, okay, and right. Let's come here. I did not give the coordinates there yet. This is just the text. Okay, let's use a padding and a font size so that they look good. Padding, some 10 pixels. Font weight, bold. Font size, some 24 pixels. So let's see if any good or not. Okay, this is it. Now let's start applying the positions there. So coming here, the first one is absolute, right? So I just copy this and paste it here. The next, okay, let's first see absolute there. Okay, let's go one by one. So now, as of now, the position here is, okay, this is some 2 pixels and the top is with a margin something. Okay, let's refresh this. You see now, this is 100 pixels by 200 pixels. So it has placed it absolute to its position. Okay, it has placed it in absolute position. Now let's talk about the relative now. So I guess fairly the relative with the same coordinates will be the same, I guess, I suppose, but let's see what can happen. Okay, now relative, it will be the same because 100 pixel 100 pixel. So instead I'll give it as 10 pixels. Okay, so let me refresh. This is relative. What happened here is, from top it has moved to 10 pixels and from left it has moved to 200 pixels. Let me give it as 600 pixels left. So it will move relative to its current position. This is 600 pixels from left. Okay, so let me just change this 10 and 600. So when is this relative is used and when is this absolute used? Let's talk about fixed also. Okay, let me just give the fixed too. So this is fixed there. Okay, how do we know if it's fixed or not? Okay, let's use the BR tags, empty BR tags, to just make the page crawlable. So I'm gonna refresh this. It's still okay. Now this website is crawlable. See, it's fixed at that location. It's fixed at the bottom 100 pixels and the rest of them will be moving. Now when to use which one? Do you guys have any idea when to use relative or absolute or fixed? Any idea? Actually, where are these used? Okay, so I'll give scenario here. Where are they used? Fixed is used on, okay, you see this Tudos Live website. Let me go back here. Okay, let me just go to the Tudos Live website here, tudoslive.com. Okay, now I scroll here. You see, this is fixed. I'll show you guys. That's a CSS there. Here. Okay, navbar fixed top, position is fixed. I'll remove this. Now it's no more fixed. Okay, so where it is used, position fixed, when you want the navigation bar to be fixed at some place, then you use position fixed. Remember this. Navigation or anything. Okay, navigation, or it can be anything, but mostly it is used in navigation. If you want a fixed navigation top, it's fixed. Okay, and sometimes they use with images too, like you want the image to be you see those feedback. I'll show you some websites here. uh, which website we take? Give me one website here, any website, little famous. You see those feedback on the left here, something on the feedback that's fixed every time, right? Even if you scroll, it's fixed. So position fixed is used over there. And sometimes you use maybe the next web. What is fixed here? Okay, this is fixed here, right? This is not moving, so they must have been used position fixed over here. Let's check it out. You can check it out any website using this awesome Chrome. Okay, this class is fixed, they say. You see that? Position fixed. Okay, so if you want some things to be fixed on your web pages, use position fixed. That's about position fixed. Now where do you use absolute and relative? Now it depends upon the designer's choice. Now absolute is used when you know the exact position where you want to place it, right? Absolute. Now relative, when you don't know where to place it, but move me 10 pixels from here, move me 5 pixels from here, move me 10 pixels from the top, move me close to bottom. The relative position has both positive and negative numbers. You can say negative also. Let's talk about minus 10 pixels here for relative. Okay, relative minus 10 pixel I have again. So coming to here, you see it has moved minus 10 pixels from its current location. Let me give minus 100 pixels. You see that it has moved beyond the scope. It's not even visible. You see these carousels? Do you know what carousel is? Those sliders, the images go and come. Okay, let me show one carousel here. So maybe they have a carousel here. No. Let me just show you where you use this. Okay, this guy is Dropbox guy. We don't want this. Okay, where is this minus is used? So you see this is going out there, right? That is where they are using minus. They are using the position relative or absolute to hide it from the scope. Okay, if you check it out, that's what you find it out. Okay, so these are the advantages of the positions, but trust me, never ever use these positions. Instead, you can use absolute. Purely designer's choice, but I have never got a chance to use these positions because they are really dangerous here. I'll show you why they are dangerous. Now this is responsive. Where is it? Since it's used a position this and that, so maybe position percentages may help us. I don't think so percentages work out. So top 2%, left 10%. Oops. Let me just check. I have never tried this. So for the absolute, right? Yeah, it's working out. So yeah, maybe percentage may help us in responsive design using this. Yeah, you may try. Go ahead and try. So let's see. Right, everything is working out there, and yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great. So well and fine. So yeah, this is about the position. So any questions now? I hope you guys have had any questions before which can be answered now, or are they answered? So any questions here about the position and how they are used, why they should be used, and the coordinates there. Always remember the coordinates are only two. You cannot really use top and bottom in the same position. Okay, any question here? And it's practice. No practice, nothing. Oh, some confusion. Practice will be, the confusion will be gone. Okay, so tomorrow's class we'll see how we can make the fixed navigation. We'll see fixed navigation, so that you guys will be knowing how to do it. You'll be knowing. Tomorrow we see a layout, and then we start Bootstrap. The other day we'll be finishing Bootstrap, and where to download templates, and the CSS is completely gone, and we start JavaScript there. Okay, I hope I'm going on track. Maybe it may take more than 45 days if I go at this pace, but still the pace has been improved from the last batch. Okay, so one more property we have here, which is float. Okay, what is float now? This is a web page, and these are your boxes. So everything is a box, even position is a box, right? We have seen it. These are your boxes. So they are display inline block divs, let's assume. Or no, display inline. Okay, display inline, not inline block. Now what I want to do is, actually, float has been gone when display inline block. Say display inline block is used instead of float, but I'll be showing you guys how to use float. Okay, so actually I would have told these two at the same time. So this kind of arrangement, if I want this kind of arrangement, the only possible way to do this is use display inline block. If you're not using display inline block for some reason, then the only way to do is using float property, which has three values: float right, left, none. Okay, so I'll be showing you guys how to do this using float and inline block both. Okay, we take the same, we take images. Okay, we take images and see. And one more property I have to discuss in position, which is z-index, which I'll be teaching in the same example. Alright, so just give me a 2-minute break here. You guys can flex your muscles, have something if you want. Okay, I'll be back in 2 minutes. So I hope Sandeep may leave because he is running out of time. And guys, yeah, be back. I'll be back. Okay, you guys even take a small break if you want. Is here. I hope so. Guys, here layout. So this is the layout. Let's assume. Guys, here, yes. Hello. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's achieve this kind of layout using float and both inline block. Okay, we do a image gallery here. Let's see what we can really do. with the image gallery. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to share my screen. So here the first statement is always doc type. So it's all practice. The position, you won't be using position anytime except for the fixed, so no need to worry much about it. Okay, only when it is required, like heavy cases. I don't think so, because as a developer I've used only 2 times in my 3 years the position attribute. So rest of the times I was using templates. So I'm not a designer, okay, I'm a developer. So remember that thing again. Tutors Live, Super 10, CSS, float, layouts. So CSS underscore float dot HTML. So here the body, so here let's use div. Inside the div, let's use an image, src equal to. So let's download some images for the same purpose. Okay, let's download some images here. Let us use, okay, let's use that on the image itself. So let's start downloading kits. So 1, so 2, we need 6 images. Okay, so single images, I don't want 3, 4, 5, and we need one more with this guy. Let's take one more, if just one more. Okay, so okay, let's take this student. So Super 10 images. Okay, inside images, I'll open a new folder called kids. Okay, kid 1, and kid 2, and kid 3, and kid 4, kid 5, this is not good, and then this is not looking good. So we need 2 more images. Let me just download them real quick. So maybe this here is good, and this guy is good, and this guy is good. So let's see which one's good. Okay, we don't want this. This is downloading. I don't want even this too. This is okay. So what's this now? Kid 6. We need one more image. Okay, because I want to show the defect of float, and I want to show why display inline block is good. So for that purpose I need 7 images. Kid 7. Alright, so looks fair and good. So I want this. Let's close this. Okay, so let's start. Come here. So src images kids and kit 1.jpg. right, this is the first image. Okay, so let me wrap everything inside a big div called class equal to let's call it as wrapper. Okay, this is the best way to do layouts. Okay, after this class, okay, you'll be knowing how to do layouts. So I'll just show the better way, or the way designers do it. So that's a wrapper, and I call this as each image because each image is there. Okay, and I'll say this is kid 1, some description. Right, so copy this, we have 7 there, 2 3 4 5 6 7, 2 3 4 5 6, and we have 7. Okay, so this looks good. So let me just wrap even this inside another div if possible. Okay, that's fine, no problem. Yeah, any questions here? Oh, where is it? Oh, this, no problem. So yeah, it has been fixed. Great, thank you. So here css underscore float, let's click on it. So the images are real big, they have come as it is, so we have to restrict it, that right? So what I do here is let's style it. So each image, okay, let the width be 30%, okay, and the height be I don't know, maybe 100 pixel, or let's take 400 pixels. So let's see now. Still nothing happened over there because $each image. And anybody know what is this? Yes, does anyone know what is this notation? No, fine, no problem. So okay, that means after each image class, find the image tag. The space means after each image, okay, dot class, then inside there's a child tag, right? In each image class there is image tag, that's what it means, nothing more than that. Okay, let this be 90%, no problem for me. And let's use a background color here, #EEE, so that it looks good. Okay, and let's use a margin. Yeah, dogs are everywhere in Bangalore. 10 pixel, there's a margin over there, 10 pixel, and there's a padding. Let's take a padding here. Let's not take the height here, let the height be default, and let's take a padding here of 10 pixel. Okay, this is it. Now I want that kind of placement. So for the main div, okay, the main div, the wrapper, I'm gonna give you another background color there. Hash, let's take this color there, so that is the color, and let's use a border to each image. Okay, what I want to do here is let this be DDD and this be EEE. Okay, and let the border be 1 pixel or solid. Let's use a black. Let's see what we can really do. Okay, this is it. And what else we can do to this is let's maintain a fixed height 200 pixel to everybody. Oh, okay, let me share the screen. The connection has been lost. Alright, so that's the height. They look stretched, no problem, don't worry about it. Okay, so yeah, this looks cool and good. Let's use a margin here 10 pixel and let's use a padding here 10 pixel. Alright, so everything is cool and neat and good. So now let's try our float. Okay, let's try our float. So where do I try the float? I try the float on each image. So float, I'll say left. See this, I said float left on this bordered. This is each image. See that? Float left on each image. That's the kind of layout I got, but there's something else happened here. The background has been removed. When I say float left, what happened there was, okay, what happened there was, I'm gonna explain it now here. So this is the layout here, right? Everything was placed like this, right? So when I said float left, what happened is everything was detached from its position. Everything was detached from its position and it's completely, it's not inside the scope now. When I said float, it completely got detached from that wrapper. There was a wrapper, right? We have seen one wrapper. So there was something like this with the background color EEE, right? So it has been completely detached. Now there is nothing inside wrapper. Everything has been detached and placed side by side. So that's not really, I mean, what I was looking for. I was looking for something which should be inside the container itself. So float left is that. Okay, let us use float right. What happens when I say float right? So I'm going to share my screen here. So float left, what happened was everything got detached and they started getting themselves placed from left side. Okay, so let's go back to here. This is the first image, this was the second image, third image. So when I said float left, so they started getting placed from the left side. Now I said float right. So let me say float right. Yeah, I've given float right here. Let me save it and refresh now. Now you see the first image is pushed to the right side. Now you can see this, there is nothing inside this div, hence there is the background color is restricted until there itself. You see everything is placed on the from the right side. Now let me try to write a paragraph at the end of this P. Okay, let me write a dummy text. So where do you get the dummy text? So let's go to tudoslive.com. So maybe I can find some dummy text here in the blog. So you guys read the blogs, the Tudos Live blogs, they'll be interesting. I mean, just read them when you get some time. Okay, so I placed a dummy text, and see, now let's see the problem, the real problem with float here. So it's float right from right side. Now you see, so only this has been inside the wrapper, everything has been detached. That's the reason, see, it's not until full. And what happened here is, there was a P here. Okay, uh, let me just assume this to be the P tag. Those are the image tags. What happened when I said float? Okay, let me remove this. What happened when I said float was, it has been detached and everything started placing one after the other. Now this P is not float, right? This P was not float. So what happened was, it pushed to the front. So let's assume this was a position. Everything got detached, placed themselves, but this is trying to, the P is trying to get itself fit into that positions. Let me try to explain it in a better way. When I use left, this is how it explains. Okay, now where is the P location? There, right? Let me refresh it. See, P is trying to allocate itself. Let me share my screen here. So the P is trying to, get itself to the top. Everything has been detached. Okay, so it is trying to move to that location. So let me do one small thing here. Okay, let me just say here div, okay, style equal to clear. Let me just clear all the floating elements and see what happens here. You see, now when I said clear, the P stays in its own location. It won't try to accommodate in the place left by the floating elements. This is the real problem of float. Like when they are detached and they are trying to float, okay, when they are detached and trying to float, what they do is they behave differently. That is the problem with float. So that's, I suggest never ever use float. Never ever use float. So instead, what should be used over there? I suggest go with, okay, so let me just remove this clear both. Okay, clear both, and let's see what happens here. Okay, this is going here. I don't want that. I seriously don't want the P to interfere with the floating elements. So that's really a problem to me. So to avoid that problem, instead of float left, I'll say display inline block. Now let's see what happens here. See that? Display inline block. Since the width is 33%, it has that problem there. Okay, but still, see, without using clear, I can push the place the content wherever it is. Let me just do one thing here. Instead of 30%, let's use 25%. So we get our layout. This is our layout, right? This is our layout. So this is using inline block. Now the other thing what I really want is, you see this is kid 1. I want it to be on top of the image with a nice transparent background. With a nice transparent background. Okay, I'll show you how to do that now. So here, coming here, I'll use a span. Okay, I'll show for one, you do for the rest of the things. So coming here, dot each image, and after that there is a span, apply the style to it. That's what it means. Each image space span means after each image there is a span, apply that rules. So let's do this. Background RGBA. Let's use all white. Zero point 0.5. Okay, and position absolute top let's say 10 pixel, left 10 pixel, or let's use bottom. Okay, it looks real cool on the bottom. Z index is the one. Okay, this is the, what is Z index? I'll tell you what is Z index in a while. So let's refresh this. Okay, there's some problem here. Let me just fix it. There is a spelling mistake, I guess. Position absolute. You see that here? Okay, it has gone here. So let's use relative. This will be minus 10 pixel and this will be minus 10 pixel. Let's see. What did I have done? I closed it. Okay, let's not use left. This is kid 1. Let me just use this. Okay, so Z index, let's talk about Z index. So what is Z index? So if you see 3 axes, okay, every graph has 2 axes, the x and y, and there's a another axis which comes out of the graph. So let me just show it in a graph. So this is y and this is x. Okay, there is something which is the top axis. So let me just draw it here. This is usually will be the z axis. So z index is nothing but where should I place this on top of it. Z index is all about top of it. If you say z index, okay, z index 1, that means place above it. If I say z index minus 1, that means place below it. Okay, place below it. So z index is nothing but arrangement of a content of a box one on top of one another. That's what z index does. So z index is usually used to place above and below the content. So this is above actually. So z index is used to place the content above and below. So when we come here, Okay, when we come to our program here, so let me just say display inline block. Okay, so the bottom is let's remove the bottom for now. Let's use top absolute only. Absolute. From the top, let it be 100 pixels wherever it is. So let me just go here and refresh. Okay, what happened here? Top is 100 pixels and left is 0 pixels, let's say. Okay, let's increase the left to be 30. 50, 200. Okay, so this is kit 1. It fit absolutely well over there. So, and there is something here. Position, background, z index, display inline block. Okay, so z index. So let me use z index 1 for the image. Okay, z index. Oh, I can't really use z index on here. I'll use position again. Okay, let me just use z index 0 here. 0 in the sense the same level. Okay, -1. So what happens here is this is kit 1 has gone beyond this, which is under this now. Okay, so +1 will make it come on top of it. So these elements, oops. So these two elements are in the same position. Which one should appear on the top, which one should go at the bottom? That's what the z index will decide. Okay, let me just copy this everything and place it everywhere. Let me show to. You can use pan or div, anything you like. So this guy is kit 7. And you have to use the position different for different guys. I'll show you what was the problem with the same position every time. So I guess you have to watch this class again and again for at least 4 or 5 times to understand it better. You see, it's the same absolute position. It's the same position, right? Hence that's the problem over there. Everything has been stacked on top of each other. You have to give it different to the different guys. So for that we have to use different classes. This must be kit 2, like such. So for instance, I'll show you for kit 2. Let me copy this. So this is where it is used. What the positions? Okay, the top is right, but the left will be somewhere in 250, I guess. It's more than that. 350. No, 400. $410 or 5, I guess. So this is how you have to calculate. It's 406 or 7. Let me just check now. 407 might work. Yeah. Okay, so now it's your job to define everything, the position absolute. Take this file. Okay, I want the kit, everything, the name here. Okay, everybody's name at the same position as this is. Alright, I'll be giving the images too. No worries, take the images too, or you can download them. Okay, it's absolutely your choice. Alright, so watch this class again and again and come back with your queries if you have any. put any query, try it out, try it out, try it out, try it out, try it out. So it's better to use float. When you go to interviews, just people will ask you like, why is not good to use float? Because float gets detached and it pushes the content which is below it inside the gaps of it. Okay, that should not happen. Hence it is not required to use float. That can be achieved using inline block. Display inline block will also do the same thing. Okay, so guys, the videos will be out very soon, by tomorrow morning. Watch it, take care of them, complete the complete where I have left. Okay, try doing it. It's only practice. That's what I say. When I was learning this for the first time, I failed it very badly. I could not do it properly. But then I have taken 3, 4, 5 examples. So after sixth example, I was able to do this particular thing with more easy. So I suggest the same thing for you guys to practice, practice, practice. It's not just learning; it's practice which makes you perfect. Okay. So just leave a feedback for today's class. As soon as the class is ended, you will see a form where you can put your feedback. Put anything over there that can help us do better, that can help other students do better. So, and the other thing is, please do share the links with your friends, with your colleagues, or on Facebook, Twitter, or G Plus. The links are available on the page itself. Alright, so guys, take care, have fun, good night. Okay, see you tomorrow. We'll see layouts tomorrow. So just be prepared with all the classes. Go through all the classes previously so that we move a bit faster. Alright, thank you, have fun.